Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We're covering Love Island UK Series 8, Episode 52. Now, Chris, I mean, the big meat of the episode, we're obviously going to have lots to say about that, I'm sure, but where would you like to start?
Well, Dave, it was that bad. Shall we just do the roll call of honour? I think you teed me up on that in Discord. Oh my God! So we lost, and I keep. So by the way, Sam's got a bone to pick with me and you because we keep calling her Danica and it's Danica, Dave. So we're getting told off by. I'm sure a lot of people are saying that when they're listening to us. So Sam's like, "Can you just call her a real name for the last time?" So Danica, Dave, and Jamie went, which wasn't a surprise. I thought that was pretty obvious. And like you said, Jamie was a tryhard. He was just desperado to stay in. And I get it. It's part of Love Island and all that. But yeah, I wasn't shocked by that exit, if I'm being honest.
No, and I was thinking about this. I'm sure in previous seasons, they've really mixed it up, you know, in terms of like, okay, these are the couple or bottom three couples, Islanders, you've got to choose a boy and a girl and or, you know, this is the bottom couple, but you can save one of them, you know, and that, well, that would be a fait accompli as well, wouldn't it? You know, that would just be Danica all day long. So, yeah, I just feel like we're into the last few days now, and the stakes just didn't really feel very high on this dumping. Yeah. And, you know, despite the fact we get the usual, honestly, Chris, the same fucking... Oh, they're the life and soul of the villa. Every fucking person who's gone out, it's like, it's not going to be the same without them. It's like, think about it. It can't be true of everyone who goes out. Yeah. So it just does my head in. It's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe we're not going to see him till like next week.
Tell you what, though, Dave, before we get on to the main thing, what did you think about Ekin-Su singing, Dave?
Oh, you bastard. Yeah. Right. I understand why there is such love for Ekin-Su out there. And you, with your faux love for Ekin-Su, just because this reality radar Hail Mary that you did, I get that as well. But fucking hell, I have to say, Chris, she's actually really starting to get on my tits. I'm just so bored now of the whole playing up to the cameras and the X Factor audition when she's singing "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." She puts in fucking Christina Aguilera thing. How I wonder where you are. You know, oh my God, I nearly died from secondhand embarrassment. Talk about buttock clenchingly embarrassing. Chris, my buttocks have never been tighter. I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm fucking really bored of her now.
I thought. No,
so
I'm going to say
thanks. You fucking prodded me right there, right in the spot where you knew you'd get me, and then all the hate mails are going to come flooding in because it's like, how dare you? We love Ekin-Su, but yeah, I get why people do, and like I say, I still think they're the favourites to win, her and Davide. But yeah, just the playing up to the cameras is just doing my head in now.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? All, you know, allegiances aside, it was just reeked of typical reality star. You used to see it on Big Brother, didn't you? Like some of them were itching for some sort of singing or some sort of competition to show off because there's a chance they could get on the West End or there's a chance they could, you know what I mean? Like the people have excelled and gone on to other things. But I found that when I've worked in that industry is everyone wants to be, you know, they just complete extroverts completely, Dave. And they're not ashamed of just acting a fool or just, you know, just sort of pushing you out of the way. And I can imagine Ekin-Su has done that a lot, like over the last few years, because she has got some sort of fame, but you just become more and more hungry. And like when you watch, I've said this before, you watch extras with Ricky Gervais, that is like Ekin-Su. I've met so many people when I've done the TV. It is honestly, I remember doing we talked about this the other day, but I remember doing the Skoda advert with Bradley Wiggins, and they just tell you cannot speak to the talent. Bradley Wiggins is out. He ended up speaking to because we're having some food together by chance, and it was fine. But they really looked down on you. But all the extras, including me, there was about 10 of us. Were trying to pretend we were rugby, like from this. It was at Altrincham Grammar. We were actually parents of a rugby team, and the kids are playing, and we're all there cheering them on the sidelines. Everyone's under a fucking £50 gazebo you would get from B&M's or B&Q, and everyone's there going, "Oh, I did 3 lines in Coronation Street, man. Yeah, I was a policeman. I was an ambulance driver on Emmerdale." But we're all stood here on minimum wage, freezing our fucking tits off under a fucking cheapo gazebo. None of us are making it, but she seems like that. It's just chasing that. And you can see, for me, I was cringing because I was like, holy fuck. And like you said, the Aguilera bit, like, all that shit at the end. Like, I mean, only Christina Aguilera can do that, Dave, because she's got a voice. But it was just purely, look at me. Is anybody out there going to go, "I'll tell you what, we could make a single off Ekinsu here"? You're so right, Dave. It was just absolute bullshit because it's the platform to do it, unfortunately, isn't it? So, yeah, I was the same. I was like, holy fuck, this is terrible.
It's like walking past a gym or something, like in an area you don't know, and some big bodybuilding guys there. And like, sorry, mate, I'm just looking for the post box. Do you know where it is? And he gives you the big bicep pose before he actually points out in the other direction.
I'm doing it now. That way.
I was doing it as well, just so you can't see me, but it's over there, mate. Yeah, okay, you could have just pointed normally.
It's true, though. You're so right. And I mean, look, the baby game, we must have had 35 minutes of crying in this episode. Now, there was fuck all to talk about. There was one, I think it was 2 bits, and unfortunately it centered around Luca and Gemma, which I'll talk about in a sec. But the whole thing, the show, they've got to stop doing it, Dave. It's got to be a quick 15-minute segment. The girls go off. We didn't get the racing thing, but we got a conga. Well, I'm pretty sure anybody, some sort of parents' fucking union is going to be complaining about the way they were treating these dolls because they were putting makeup on them. They were like flinging them with one hand. I know it's a game. We've seen it in the past. That's the sort of thing that they get complaints about. Again, it just didn't make any sense to me. It's just absolute shit. Then this is the worst episode for me by a mile.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It was definitely the worst episode. But what I kind of like about the baby game episode is that you've got these absolute self-obsessed narcissists. They don't really think about anyone beyond themselves. They couple up, but it's only, it's in relation to how the other person makes them feel themselves. So they just, and you see it when they're getting ready, like, we get edited down montages, but you can tell they're getting ready for a couple of hours or something. That is what I do like. And the relentless baby crying, I'm sure I must have said in the past, I'm sure there is something evolutionary to just resonate with you in a really negative way, because it's like when I had my kids when they were babies, when they start crying, it's just like, oh shit, they want feeding, they want changing, and you okay, do you need to burp, and you're walking around with them and stuff. You're trying to figure out how the fuck do I stop them like striking, because it is piercing. Now, that constant crying is when it's relentless, and you can get these self-obsessed narcissists having to try and deal with that, even though it's only a doll. There's something deep within us, I think, that just it grates on you. But the thing is, as a fucking viewer, Chris, I don't need to experience it as well.
Yeah.
So turn the fucking volume down on the baby screaming. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it. And, put them through the whole day and give us some, like you said, 15-minute edited down best bits. I mean, I say best bits. I don't think there was anything. There was literally nothing. Some couple. What I would say is, I thought the couples this year did much better than last year. I seem to remember last year the boys ended up looking after the babies and the girls just fucked off, and they sort of did here, but they got a text so they could do that. So yeah, it was just his fingernails down a chalkboard tonight. I just didn't really enjoy it. And like I said, it's not really, other than the context of the show and kind of, we saw Luca and Gemma make up. I didn't actually see them properly resolve it. They just kind of got tired of being mad at each other, I guess. Really good sign for a relationship, Chris. Just utterly boring episode.
It was, to be honest, it was a terrible. And I think, like Luca and Gemma, I saw Gemma get a little bit of stick after the episode tonight about her whole attitude and the way she was speaking to Luca and that. And normally I'd just go and say, yeah, she was being a slapped ass and everything. But she's with a baby who's now holding a baby who is going to get jealous of the baby and just cause a load of shit. So I'm sort of in her side in some respects. Yeah, she was a bit miserable. She said, I told Luca, don't bring that baby because I've been in a mood all night. That's like an immaturity thing. But also she's having to deal with someone who acts like a fucking child 24/7 and needs reassuring, needs an arm around him. I've seen there was a great post actually on, I think it's on Facebook, our Facebook page, about actually having a go at Gemma, basically saying like, it's also her as well. I think she, in some ways, is manifesting that, and they're just not good for each other. It's a great post, Evan. I'm paraphrasing. I apologise, but really, really good post. And it's something I'd never even thought about. And it was on Discord, actually. Sorry, not Facebook. On Discord, it was a great post, and I really appreciate it. I think it's by Neve. And when you read it, you go, yeah, that's got a good point. But I think Gemma's just bored of it now. She's bored of Luke, in my opinion. I think she's just bored of everything. We've exhausted all that. And I did love the line when Luke is going, I'll make a great dad, me, won't I? I'll make a great dad, me, won't I? And he said about 3 times, and she went, yeah, you would. And I kept thinking she's going to say, but not with fucking me, pal. But she didn't go that far. She just sort of went, yeah, you are. Yeah, great. Yeah. It was like, so I think he didn't do anything too bad tonight, to be fair. He was actually caring, but it was just, I think she just had 7 weeks of him in her ear. I just cannot see, again, and I said it yesterday, how they're going to work. And she was a bit of a slap tars, but I'm giving her a bit of slack because I think anybody would be after having someone just getting you in a fucking chokehold for the last 7 weeks, wherever you move, he's there, isn't he? He's like fucking flies around shit. He's just on her all the time.
I think you're giving her a bit too much credit to recognize what's really going on there. I that is where I started, but now I'm convinced she just almost thinks this is normal. She's 19, Chris. And her biggest, longest, previous relationship from when she came out of school, debatable, was Jack's. I don't think she knows what a healthy relationship is. I think she'll occasionally get bored of him and call him out and stuff. And I do think I sit somewhere slightly differently because I don't like how Luca is, but I don't necessarily think that means I think Gemma's great. And I do agree. I don't think they're compatible. There was the one on Discord, and there was one on Facebook as well, sort of saying the same thing. I can see that, the way Gemma is might make Luca a bit worse. I can kind of get that, but again, it's just not. They're just not compatible. But the thing that really had me reflecting was, how chill Gemma is compared to like most of the other people. Like, let's take Ekin-Su, right? She's had a crack at being a pop star. Didn't make it. She had a crack at being a soap opera star. Did 7 episodes or something. Didn't make it. Had a crack at being a film star. Well, evidence suggests hasn't made it yet. And now, she's having a go at being a reality star, which she'll probably make something of that. But she's hungry. She has to do that. She doesn't have a famous fucking dad. And she's not going to walk out of this show straight into a £4 million house.
Yeah.
So there is a certain arrogance that comes with, just being that fucking privileged, to be honest. She's got no fucking worries. She doesn't really have to build up her following. She might do it because she wants to. Getting more followers makes these people feel good about themselves. And she'll be doing it for those reasons. But this isn't a career or not a career. Whereas I think for most of the other people who've been in there, even the people who've left now, that was their chance. That was their shot.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. That's a great point. When you've not got that financial noose sort of thing, Dave, you can be whatever you want to be, can't you? Basically, and that's. I know people who've got money, and I know that their kids will literally, they're just sort of like, oh, I'll get bailed out anyway. They're trying to be, they have been taught how to look after themselves, but you've always got that fallback. If the worst case scenario, I can just go and borrow money, or I can, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's an interesting, I have seen that firsthand, and these people I work with in that situation. So, yeah. And it's interesting.
So Michael Owen, I've read Michael Owen's autobiography, and it's a few years ago now, so I might get some things wrong. I'm sort of thinking back. But when he was growing up, his mum and dad had no fucking money at all, but it was very clear that he had a talent for football. So even though he had siblings, basically everyone else would fucking starve and have beans on toast or something. And his dad would feed Michael Owen steaks. He would literally get the best food. He was the bet, that the family were going with. So Owen himself got treated a lot better than his siblings. And but that was the choice that the parents had to make. They literally, and it came off, obviously, yay for them. But that kind of background, having to work really fucking hard, being really hungry for it, Gemma Owen will never know.
Yeah. It's true, Dave. That's like when you get a lot of boxers, and this is, I like boxing. Like boxing is a lot of kids whose parents are boxers, are not good boxers, because like Tyson, the stuff he did, went through, whatever. It's that rawness of having to find where your next meal's coming from, where you're going to sleep tonight. You've got nowhere to live. The kids grow up privileged and they live in a lifestyle. I know his son does a bit of boxing, but they're never going to be. Evander Holyfield's lad's a boxer. Never going to be, Dave, because they've never had that fight. I mean, look, this is a terrible thing, but Rocky V, Dave, I like Rocky V. People slate it. Rocky's son, who unfortunately, he's actually Stallone's real son, who passed away a couple of years ago, but he actually plays his son, and he's privileged. He's never lived anywhere, and they've got to go live in Philadelphia in some shitty place. He's lost all his money. And that's a prime example of that. They've nothing to fight for because you've never grew up with that, have you? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. You grow up a certain way. You do have a tough... It's like I grew up, I had these 9 of us. We never had a pot to piss. We were lucky to have a pair of trainers once a year, or if I wanted the United shirt, which come out every other year, I'd have to wait till my birthday. So if I didn't have my dad's hand-me-down clothes, and even if they were fucking too big, the shoes or whatever, I had to wear them. You know what I mean? So, but Jordan's never had that. That's not slaying. I'd give her a different life. She's never had to worry about stuff like that. Piss taken out of her because she didn't have the right trainers on, or I'm sure you're the same. We both grew up in that environment where there just wasn't the cash. Going on holiday and all that was such a struggle when we were young, even though we did go away, but it was always, that was the only thing we could afford. All our money went. So there's a difference when you've struggled like that and you're literally eating Aldi 3p can of beans all your life, to then your kids don't go through it. That's a good thing, but it's also character building as well. That's just a little thing that you lose, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember like Thursday night is when my dad used to get his pay packet. He used to get his pay packet on Thursday. And my mum and dad would pour the pay packet onto the floor and literally divvy up. There's a few notes in there. There was plenty of coins as well. And like, right, that's for the shopping. That's for, gas and electric and whatever. I wasn't old enough to understand where the money was going, but it's always stuck with me that they literally, to the penny, had to budget for that next week. And, again, my kids don't know that.
Yeah.
That's true. So yeah, it's just different, isn't it? Obviously, I do think you are wired a certain way when you're just born. So you do come with these innate characteristics, but then, the environment that you're brought up in as well definitely does shape you. So it all gets, a bit serious, this, doesn't it, Chris? But, we're just trying to avoid talking about the fucking baby game. And you say about taking on, having to look after a baby. Chris, she's fucking 19. She's a baby herself. It's borderline uncomfortable me watching this, going, hearing Gemma go on about fucking popping him out or whatever. Just fucking live a few years. You don't have to be thinking about babies just yet.
No, it's true, Dave. But also, flip it, and I've got a 21-year-old daughter, Dave, at 43. We've done also because we had Jordan early. We're lucky now because a lot of my friends have only just had kids, so there is a plus to it, Dave. I'm not encouraging someone getting pregnant like 17, 18, but there is a plus to it because we're at the stage where we only had Jordan and we were privileged to have Jordan, but we've been around the world and we go around the world with her now. We're not loaded, but we have to save up. But we've got a different life. We're at a different stage of our life that a lot of my friends won't have until they're 60 odd. So when they were taking the piss out of me, saying, "Oh yeah, kitchen sink, you're not going out," you're not fucking laughing now, are you? Because you're still changing nappies in your early 40s, and I'm not. So there is a plus side to it, Dave, and that's just from mine and Sam's point of view. I'm in a good stage in our life where we can do that, but it is a thing with privileged kids and that, and I think that's such a good point. And you're right, we're absolutely distracting from the point that this fucking episode was a load of fucking shit. There you go.
So what I'm trying to remember now is it likely to be Meet the Parents next then?
Oh, I hope so, Dave. I hope tomorrow we get that because we're running down the clock unless they save it for Friday, and then we've got Friday, Sunday, and then Monday's like the sort of final, and they've got to have the dates. So
yeah,
it's got to be tonight. It's got to be tonight. Actually, now you say that because we usually have a dates thing, don't we? And that can be.
That's a couple of episodes, isn't it? They usually have a couple of dates in one episode, a couple of dates in another. So, but then they might keep a couple of the dates for the final. So maybe for the Monday. I don't know. I think it's very likely Meet the Parents is going to be either tonight or tomorrow night. Yeah,
I think so. Hopefully, I'll be absolutely praying for Louise Owen, Dave. I'm praying she goes in, and like you said, I still have that crumb of hope that as a person he will grow and become a better person. Not currently at the moment, in my opinion, but there's a lot of insecurities there, and I don't think he's ever been told no as a kid, and he seems to get his own way a lot. So I'm hoping that, in my opinion, and I know people will support Luke and that there is some growth there of him as a person, and that's all you can ask for. Whatever we think he's done and that, he's got a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris, anything else to say on this episode?
Nothing, Dave. I'm so pleased we're at the end of this, but there's nothing. And sorry, it was quite we went a bit serious there, but it is quite a great point, Dave. And I think we've had an email, Dave, actually, with an apology. So Jason said, when the comment he said about Luca's tattoos, and we were questioning ourselves, and we could have said it because we say that much stuff and there's that many episodes in between. But he did say it was actually another his podcast. His email says apology. It was actually another podcast that I called Luca's Tattoo. So sorry to confuse. No, don't worry, Jason, it's fine. And he's just said, but Dave hit it on the head. I think Paige and all the girls except Gemma are sick of Luca and see through his bullshit. So I think she was angry that he was trying to deny what he's so blatantly obvious to most people. So yeah, good email. Thanks for that, Jason, because I was racking my brains after we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but thanks for clearing that one up. But yeah, no, very good, Chris, very good. Should we do the roll call of honour?
Let's do it, Dave. I know you wanted to do that in minute one because
no, I did say it'd be a 3-minute podcast.
So if you want to follow us, guys, get over to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast on Facebook. Get over there. We're well going up towards 350 followers, so that's fantastic. Thank you for all the comments and all the new posts that get put on there. It's brilliant. It's really active as well. It's great stuff. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @cdrealitycast. So if you want, as I just said, Dave, on the old Patreon's roll call of honour, it's patreon.com/cdrealitycast. Big thank you to all our patrons, past and present. It's really good. And if you are a patron and you're not too sure, drop one of us a message. You've got to go to our Discord channel because the Discord link actually expires after a few days. So a few people couldn't get onto it, Dave, and I've just messaged them. So please reach out to us, no problem at all. So today's roll call of honour is Megan Kate, Annabeth, Gavin, Maggie, Kristen, Zoe, Tom, Gillian, Michelle, Keith, Helen, Brianna, Neve, Jacqueline, Noreen, Amy, Joanna, Helen, Libby, Katie, Dee Dee, Hannah, Priscilla, Susan, Hennessy, Hayley, Lauren, Lucky Lulu Green, and Ken Gustafson. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Really, really good stuff.
Amazing. Very good, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know how we managed to talk this long about this episode, to be honest, but good chat. Very good chat. So thanks to you, and thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters and everything, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.